So you're finally going on that international trip you've been planning for so long, but now you're wondering what documents you need for your trip. This post-pandemic world has added some challenges to travel planning, but in this video, I will show you exactly how you can know if you need a visa or any other entry documents for your travels. I'm Allie Hobart, and I am one half of Hobarts Abroad. My husband Sumner and I have been traveling the world since the beginning of 2020, so I have been doing the exact process that I'm about to show you dozens of times. Also, be sure to stick to the end where I will share a critical tip so you don't get stuck at an airport like we did. The first tool that I use is specifically for COVID restrictions. It's an interactive map from IATA, the International Air Transport Association, and on this map you can click on the exact country that you want to visit and they're going to show you all of the COVID restrictions associated with them. This is a great tool for some preliminary research when you're starting to think about a trip to that specific destination, for you to know what situation they're in, if they're allowing visitors. So very good to check. Now, the second and my favorite tool is the Sherpa's travel restriction map. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's a great website where you can input your origin and destination countries, your nationality, and your vaccination status. And when you make the search, you're going to get a detailed list of everything that you need or don't need for your trip. So let's say, for example, I want to go from Thailand to South Korea. My nationality is Brazilian and I'm fully vaccinated. You can see here that I need an electronic travel authorization, and not only they're going to tell me this, they're also going to give me the link where I can actually apply to get that authorization. They're also going to let me know if there's any COVID testing required, if there are any other kinds of visas, or if I need some sort of health insurance in order to enter the country. So it's hands down the best tool that you can use to find if you need any travel documents for your trip abroad. Now, there is one detail that this website is missing, and that's why I always double checked my research with this third tool, which is Delta's own travel restriction map. So what's different about this map? Well, here you can also add your residency status, which can completely change the travel restrictions for that particular destination. For example, I have a Brazilian passport, but I also have residency in the US. If I were to use just Sherpa's website, and let's say I'm searching to go from South Korea to the USA and I'm not fully vaccinated. If I search on this website with just my Brazilian nationality, they will tell me that I'm not allowed to enter the US. However, if I use Delta's own travel map, then I can add in that I have US residency, and even if I'm not fully vaccinated, I would still be allowed entry in the US, as you can see. So if you have a different residency from your nationality, from your passport, then definitely double check your research on Delta, because that can really change the results for the entry requirements of that destination. So these are my go-to websites to check all of the entry requirements, and I make sure to do that before I start purchasing flight tickets or accommodations, anything for the trip, as well as 1 week before that trip happens, because maybe things have changed by then. Maybe you weren't required to get a COVID test before, but now you are, and so on. So definitely make sure to check twice. And the very last place that I go to confirm everything is in order is the airline booking details, where airlines have actually been pretty reliable when it comes to letting you know through their booking details any documentations that you might need for that trip. Now, sometimes a few things are lacking. They might not tell you about specific vaccinations or anything like that, but they're pretty reliable when it comes to visas, entry forms, and COVID testing. Finally, as promised, I want to share a critical tip that can change your document requirements for your trip. If you have a connecting flight on another country, you may need to also do research on the travel requirements for that country. What happened to us was we were going from Thailand to South Korea and we had a connecting flight in Vietnam. What we did not realize is that we bought our tickets through an agency, and they pretty much bought separate tickets from two different airlines and sold it together. Because of that, we were required to leave the transit area in Vietnam and recheck in on that other airline before we got on the flight to South Korea. And because we had to do that, we actually needed a visa to enter Vietnam because we needed to pass through immigration when you leave the transit area before we actually rechecked in, and we didn't have it, so we got stuck in Thailand for a few days until we were able to actually reapply for that visa. So make sure that you double check if you have a connecting flight on another country, if you need to recheck in or not. Usually, most times that you go with the same airline from country A to country B, even if you have another connecting flight on another airport, most cases you do not need to recheck in. So make sure you check with your airline and double check the booking details of your flight tickets. But I am 100% certain that if you follow the process that I laid out in this video, that you can travel worry-free from the time that you start planning your trip to when you come back. And that reminds me, make sure that you get a copy of your free travel planner, which I will leave the link in the description below, along with the link of the video that shows you how to use it. And if you like this video, you're gonna love this video right here on the screen. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on our next adventure.